welcome back to another Tuesday video on Drama Juseyo. My name is Sam and today we're going to be doing something a little different. I'm gonna try something new and we're gonna test it out, and if it works, awesome. If not, we never have to do it again, but let's try this out. So today I am going to be doing what I call verses. Which means I'm taking two dramas of generally the same, at least the same genre. Today is going to be historical dramas, and I'm going to pit them against each other / just talk about pros and cons and differences, and then pick my favorite one at the end. So hopefully it's entertaining for you. So the two dramas I'm going to be talking about today are Scarlet Heart Rhea and Moonlight Drawn by Clouds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give categories, discuss, and then give points or side one way or another. And then at the end of this, I'm going to assign who won the verses. Just fair warning, this is going to be highly spoilery, so if you haven't seen either one of these, go ahead and go watch them and come back and we will discuss them, and if you agree or disagree with my opinions. Again, all my own opinions, this is my own thing. If you don't agree, that's okay. We all have our own opinions. So the first category, I guess we'll call it, is male lead. So in Moonlight Drawn by Clouds, we have Park Bo Gum playing the male lead, and he is, in the beginning, he's a total jerk. Let's just put that out there. He is a total jerk. He's a brat. He kind of, like, he's just mean. And he's a spoiled child, and yeah. So like, with the help of his friends, and Hong Raon and his little sidekick ninja buddy, he ends up becoming kind of a nicer, more gentler person, and I really liked his character development as it kind of went on. And then in Scarlet Heart, we have Lee Joon-gi's character, which he plays the fourth prince, Wang So, in Scarlet Heart. And when we first meet him, he is anything but a marshmallow. And we don't really know much about him when he first shows up, but we kind of get to know him as like time goes on, that he's the fourth prince and he got scarred across his eye and his parents abandoned him and he got sent off, and all of these rumors kind of came up, and he's basically just like, he's got a wall up. He doesn't want to be exposed because he's been hurt way too much. And it doesn't help that as the drama goes on, like, the people that he comes to trust and the people he comes to love kind of keep pushing him away, because Hae-soo kind of creates issues through the whole thing. A lot of the issues that happened weren't 100% his fault, but at the same time, some of them were. He could have done things differently. So when it comes to the male lead, the person I would pick is kind of hard because I really like both of them. If I was going with adorable cuteness, I would go with Park Bo Gum, and if I was going with tragic hero, I would go with Scarlet Heart. So when it comes to male leads, I actually surprisingly would have to go with Moonlight Drawn by Clouds. And Park Bo Gum's character. So, which is shocking even to me because we all know how big of a Lee Joon-gi fan I am, but I really liked his character, and although I know that Wang So really did care for Hae-soo, I'm more on this side of the spectrum of him taking more of an active role in trying to keep her in his life, where Wang So would like push and pull constantly. So the next category, we went with male leads. We're gonna be talking about the female leads. To start us off, I'm gonna go with Scarlet Heart and Hae-soo. Hae-soo is a character who her body ends up getting possessed by a 21st century girl. I cannot remember what her actual name was. We kind of forget it after a while because it doesn't matter. She's plopped in the Joseon dynasty era with all of these princes, and she is actually currently living with the, I think he's the 8th prince, Wang Wu, and she is the cousin of Wang Wu's wife. She ends up catching Wang Wu's eye first, and he like starts falling in love with her even though he's married, and it ends up turning out that his wife is dying, and so they kind of start cultivating a little bit of a relationship. But at the same time, she's like really curious about Wang So, the 4th prince, because like he's mysterious and we all want to know about him, and of course he's the male lead, and so that's kind of how it's set up. But she ends up getting feelings kind of for both of them, but with Wang Wook, it's much more of a brotherly attachment, and Wang So starts becoming a little more of like a caring romantic kind of relationship. I feel like she kind of drew the short straw in a lot of things. She's trying to do the best she can, and she's trying to make sure that she's living the best life that she can, and the poor girl, I mean, cut herself because she didn't want to be the king's wife, and any female with a scar couldn't be a wife to the king because they were damaged goods, I guess is the best way to put it. So I really liked Jesus' character. I just felt really bad for her 99% of the time. And then we have Hung Raon in Moonlight Drawn by Clouds. Now Hung Raon is actually a female character who pretends to be a boy because of reasons we don't really know for quite a while, but like her mother is always saying, you're a boy, you need to act like a boy, and through chaos and kind of her own doing, she ends up getting captured and sold to the palace as an eunuch, and eunuchs are all males, and hilarity ensues because like clearly she doesn't have the male body parts. And yeah, I really liked Hung Raon in the sense of like comedy, and I kind of felt for her character, but the fact that like one of the characters figured out she was female pretty darn quickly, and it kind of, for most Korean drama male impersonations, they don't figure it out that fast. They just feel kind of weird. So didn't really do a good job, or the scholar had a really good eye. But we find out pretty darn quickly, and so does the prince find out pretty darn quickly that he is actually a she, and so things aren't as weird. I don't know how I feel about the character. I don't feel like they took, like, I don't know how to explain it. I wasn't super impressed with the character, honestly. Like, overall, I really like this drama, honestly. But as a character, I wasn't like, I was rooting for the relationship, but I felt more for the prince than I did for her, and this really was more of the prince's story, honestly. So when it comes to who wins the female lead, I would have to go with Scarlet Heart. I feel bad for IU's character, and this has nothing to do with the actresses. They're both very well acted. Honestly, these are all just characters. These are all just my opinions, and if you don't agree with them, that's okie dokie. So let's talk about second leads. Who is the second lead in either one of these? It's kind of hard to tell. With Moonlight Drawn by Clouds, I kind of give the second lead more to the scholar, and his name is Kim Hyun-sung. He's the one who figures out that she's a she, and he's the one who like wants her to kind of become a female again and kind of embrace her femininity, and he does start to fall for her. So I know that it feels kind of like the drama was more going toward like the ninja friend, because names, but I really feel Kim Hyun-sung is the second lead in this. And he's adorable. Let's just put it out there. And he draws really well, and any girl would be impressed by it. So yeah. So I would definitely say he's the second lead in all of this. But he's not he is a huge player in the drama, but I don't really think that Hamraoun ever looks at him as like a possible romantic partner. I think she sees him more as a way out.
This is the point that my camera decided to overheat on me and I had to stop filming. Cue lighting change.
So I'm not like 100% sure who exactly the second lead is in Scarlet Heart. It's literally like 5 people it could be. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't really want to pick one. I think they're more brothers to her than anything else. Wang Wu is actually the only one who I think has like full romantic feelings for her through this whole thing. A lot of his motivation was making sure that him and Haesu could be together, and he basically toward the end said that everything he did for Haesu was for them to have an eventual future. But I don't think he was paying attention to the fact that like she didn't want a future with him. And the further we got into this, the more and more she hated him. He was turning into an absolute terrible person. So if I had to pick second leads, I'm gonna go with the side that wants the best for her, and that would be Moonlight Drawn by Clouds. So let's go with story, and let's talk about a lot of comparisons between the two stories. Each one of the female leads is kind of dropped into this environment like they know nothing about, and they have to kind of figure their ways through. Each one has a king who is the king in Scarlet Heart already knows who's going to be the king, and the king in Moonlight Drawn by Clouds already knows who's going to be the king. But things get messed up. The king in Scarlet Heart does end up dying, and then the firstborn son ends up becoming king, and he ends up losing his daylights, basically, is the best way to put it. The king in Moonlight doesn't really want the prince to become king. He doesn't think he's mature, but he doesn't have any other choice. He's his only living male heir that has claimed the throne. And his evil little stepmother person ends up switching people out, and it's just crazy. Everybody has mommy issues on both sides. But if we talk about story complexity and like general overall arc, I really like Scarlet Heart's arc, even though I wasn't too excited about the ending. And Moonlight Drawn by Clouds, although had a really nice story arc, was definitely more geared toward the romance of it, and I appreciate complicated story arcs. Even if I'm not too happy with how it ends, I'm okay with tragic endings, because one is a beautiful love story, the other is a tragic love story, and that's kind of where they differentiate. So if I had to choose the story that I liked the most, the one that I think had the best story, I would definitely have to go with Scarlet Heart. And I mean, I'm not gonna go through a giant explanation because I'm sure you've all watched it, but I really liked Scarlet Heart's story. I liked how complicated and intricate it was. There was a lot of players, so sometimes things kind of got muddled. The good guys sometimes turned out to be the bad guys, and then the good guy who was supposed to be the bad guy was the good guy, and it was just crazy. A lot of people died. It's a historical drama. And I mean, I'm not saying that nobody died in Moonlight. It was just less killing, I guess. Although, like, they both have their merits, and they're both very good stories, so I'm not saying anything against either one of them. I would just choose Scarlet Heart. So far, in the categories I have picked, there's a tie. So we have to go into a bit of a tiebreaker, I guess, and let's talk about the romance between them. I feel like they both had very organic romances. They both had their pros and cons, but I think that they both had very organic romances. You could kind of see how they liked each other. I feel more though that even though Moonlight had a little bit of a faster romance, it was very much puppy love at first and then it drew into true appreciation. I feel like Scarlet Heart though had a much more gradual appreciation for the other person. Jesus stood up to Wong-So a lot. Wong-So challenged her a lot. And so they, even though their relationship wasn't perfect, they really did have a trusting relationship. And they hurt each other constantly, but I think it was more for the sake of the other person. It wasn't like, I'm going to hurt you for the sake of hurting you. I'm going to hurt you because this is how things need to be. And this is how the world we live in is. And it's not up to me or you as to whether or not we get to be together. It's up to the society that we currently live in. I mean, it took Jesus a long time to understand like the role she played in this world, but she figured it out pretty quickly, and she kind of understood that she needed to keep her head down, hold her position, and not ask any questions in order to basically survive. This was a survival tactic for her. Where Moonlight Drawn by Clouds, their relationship was very much like puppy love and I'm going to do whatever, even though both were I'm going to do whatever it takes to be with you. Theirs was much more like they had hope toward the end. And Scarlet Heart was much more like, I need you and you need to be here for me, and like, because I'm not going to survive without you. And I mean, ultimately, like, it doesn't work out, but when it comes to romance, I really, really, really think that Scarlet Heart had the better romance. I feel like the one who won this versus is Scarlet Heart. Just with the story arc and the character development and the fact that I mean, I'm a sucker for a mushy love story, but I definitely think this had a better story. I think for the most overall, Moonlight is more geared toward a younger audience, and Scarlet Heart is definitely geared toward a little bit of an older audience. I'm somewhere in the center of young and old. I still really, really love mushy, and I can appreciate mushy, but I really, really liked Scarlet Heart's story overall. So yeah, so the winner is Scarlet Heart Rhea. What'd you think? Did you like it? I like doing this. This was fun. I know I have a pen in my hand. I was writing things down. But I enjoyed doing this. This was fun. So if you like this, go ahead and give it a like. If you want me to keep doing it, make sure you put a comment down below so I know to keep doing it. And I will see you in my next Tuesday video. So until then, bye.
Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please feel free to give it a like. If you would like, you can subscribe to our channel. And if you want to check out our last week's discussion video, click somewhere on the screen because it'll be somewhere up here. And we will see you guys next time. Okay, bye. Not really bye, but bye.